Are you ready to learn what red flags keep an eye out for when looking for love?
Then we got you covered. I'm Brianna.
And I'm Alex.
And this is the podcast where we unpack reality TV and call out the bullshit.
So that you show up confidently while dating and in relationships. Welcome to Ditch the Script.
I love it. Hey, girl.
Hello there.
Hi, honey.
Hi. How are you?
How you doing? Oh, a little hungover. How are you doing?
Ooh, you're hungover? I want to hear about your fun Saturday night.
Yeah, it was fun. No, it was fun. I went out with one of my best friends, Allie. I grew up with her. You know her.
Oh, I know Allie.
And so Allie lives in Miami part-time. So I met her in Miami. I took the Bright Line for the first time.
Ooh,
Do you know what the Bright Line is? It's kind of new.
No, I haven't. No, back in my day, I took the train up to West Palm for a hot second, but that was it. So they have one that goes down into Miami now. You
probably took the Palm Beach rail. Isn't that what it's called? Or
I don't even
whatever.
remember. I just
You're like, I have no
I picked up the train on Military Trail. That's all I remember.
I love that. Okay, so Brightline's a new train. They're about to sponsor us the way that I'm about to sell this,
Hell yeah.
transportation.
Let's go.
So it only has 3 stops. It goes from Miami to Fort Lauderdale to West Palm. There are no other stops.
That must be great for airports too.
Amazing. I haven't taken it to the airport or anything, but this shit is so nice. And they literally set it up like a little terminal. It's like an airport.
Good job, Florida.
And on the train, there's a nice bathroom in all of the cars. They come through with snacks that you can buy. I had coffee today. It's great coffee. Great fucking coffee.
Wow, that's so amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's great. I'm glad that they did something like that because, there's the majority of the states that are in America, public transportation is not a thing unless you're in New York City.
Right.
And even in LA, the public transportation's hit or miss.
Yeah, totally.
So it's nice that that, especially, Florida, you definitely needed a car. And so it's nice to know that public transportation is something that they're really prioritizing.
If you want to get anywhere but those 3 places, you're fucked, but absolutely.
Yep. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm glad you had the time of your life.
The train was, I had a great time in Miami, great food. We went out. But the train was up there as far as experiences last night.
Look, if you could pregame on the train,
you can.
So it's it's a vibe. These things are important. Okay.
Also, I was catching up on Love Island on the train there.
There you
back.
go.
So it
can't
helped me
do
get
that while you drive.
No, you sure can't. I wouldn't have been ready for today if I didn't have that.
Oh, Jesus. I'm glad you guys had a great time. And so you came back this morning, and that's when you got the coffee. But that's a very well-rounded experience.
Yeah. I've had to take 2 emergency trips to the bathroom, and we are good. We're doing great.
Good. Yeah.
How are you?
You're doing great.
Let's get a catch up on how you're feeling. How are we?
So, the last time we recorded an episode, I was at the beginning stages of what I thought was just a gnarly cold, but it turned out to be COVID. And
Rats.
COVID kicked my ass. Yeah. I have not been able to be upright for an extended period of time, so this is a big win for me today.
I know.
And it sucks. And I'm with the amount of people reaching out, by the way, everyone who's reached out, thank you so much. You all are so sweet, sending you so much love and light. It's been so sweet to feel supported when I've quite literally had to kind of disappear from not like from my business and my job and like
Yeah.
whew, so I'm really thankful to have the support system that I have. But it's been funny because like I've managed to evade COVID for this
The
long,
entire
and
time.
then somehow I got it, and it literally tried to
It tried to end you.
it tried to end me, but
There
I
was
kicked back.
oh, bitch, you kicked back with a vengeance. It's really gnarly to like have be recording the show and have had you on like both like sides of the major wave
Yeah.
of illness, right? But there was a day that Alex had sent me a couple voice notes because we were trying to like we wanted to catch up. We wanted to be able to like FaceTime and just like chill and like
Have a girls' night.
yeah, just like be friends. And as we are, and like you weren't well enough to do it, but we did exchange a voice note before we did eventually get to FaceTime a bit later this week. And I was like, oh my God, do I have to call someone? You just didn't sound good. You were actually more okay than how you sounded, but I was worried there for a second. I was like,
So it was
what's
weird
happening to my
because
friend?
like yeah, so Monday after we recorded, I threw up Monday morning a little bit, but I was like, I didn't think anything of it Monday morning because my throat was what was killing me. And so that's why I was like, oh, it must just be a cold. And then after you and I recorded our episode, I threw up like a bunch more, which was weird. And apparently COVID can do that to you. Had no idea. So at first I was like, is this a cold? Is it a stomach flu? And then I've heard from multiple people that if you're vaccinated and boosted, your tests will show negative at first.
For a while.
So I waited a day, and on Wednesday I took another COVID test, and literally the second I dropped the sample, it was like, boom. And so I knew I needed to wait 20 minutes, but at that point I'm like,
No, it's already
it's
listen,
very,
if the
like,
lines
that
are
line's
there,
not
the
gonna
lines
go
are there.
away. It's not gonna go away.
It's funny that
So-
they're like, wait 20 minutes, and like you should, but not if it's clear as fucking day. 2 lines.
So
True positive.
yeah. So I've had a few people ask me like what's been the worst part. And like aside from feeling like my throat had razor blades for like 3 days, because that's
Yeah.
what it felt like. The like amount of searing sinus pressure and head pain from the congestion, awful. But here's the good news. I'm getting better. I can breathe through my nose a little today. Amazing. Doesn't hurt to swallow. I don't
Love
sound
that.
like I'm dying anymore.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're on the mend.
You're finally on. It's not going to get worse from here, so that's good.
It better not.
How,
Hallelujah.
what's your status on taste and smell?
Nothing.
Not present. Not in the room.
You know, that's actually something that's been really interesting is because I've had like insane cravings for certain foods. And I'm a big believer that when our bodies crave not cookies and baked goods, which that's a whole different kind of craving, but when we crave things like pickled vegetables, which is what I've been craving, right? It's our bodies like
something
telling us like we
strong.
need something. Yeah, like we need
That's
some
gonna
kind
like
of nutrients.
stand out. Mm-hmm. Oh,
But
I
it
hear what you're
sucks because
saying.
but I can't taste it. So
Yeah, even
it's
the
been
vinegar.
weird. No, and I'm trying so hard. Like I will put the pickle in my mouth and then like blow my nose trying to like clear enough of my, I don't know how it works, but sometimes that'll work, not working. But you know, I've been listening to my body. I've been eating the pickles regardless.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've just been like, I have been drinking a lot of tea. And I've particularly been doing a turmeric and peach detox tea.
What
To
great,
help
great for the detoxification.
inflammation.
Probably
Yeah.
just tastes like hot water.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, I am hanging in there. I hope I get my taste and smell back soon, but in the meantime, you know, I'm just chilling. Don't get COVID, people. Wash your hands. COVID isn't fake. The end.
Yeah. I love that you're like, I mean, you've gone through this crazy week, and I'm like, I went to Miami. Like, I shouldn't be in Miami.
What are you talking about? That's such horseshit.
Well, 'cause, like, I know it's just a really funny place in the pandemic that we're in.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Totally.
I mean, I'm fully vaccinated. I'm not worried about what would happen to me if I got sick. My parents are fully vaccinated. If like they got sick, we'd all experience what you're experiencing or some variants of it, right? So I'm not worried about like getting ill, but it is just sort of like a funny place to be in because it's like people are getting sick. You are down for the count. I know and I've known people getting COVID one right after the other for the last 2 months. Like everyone, I've got handfuls of people that I know in this particular moment that are home with COVID. And I'm like, I'm going to go to a packed bar. Let's just turn the heat up.
Do it.
You know what was good? You know what was good about that, or at least this place? It's like, listen, we're gonna get sick. It's gonna be fine. We have to just take care of ourselves, to take the time off, do what you got to do. Some people are in a better place, more privileged place to be able to do that because you can work from home, or you're able to, you're not taking care of kids, those things. I am grateful to have the opportunity to like go out and do that, risking getting sick and all, because like last night being able to like dance. Ooh, that was good for my soul. My soul needed that.
Oh my God, I bet.
Girl,
I'm happy
I've been
about
hanging out
that
with my
opportunity.
parents. Yeah, me too. I've been hanging out with my parents for a long time, and I love them. They are a good hang, but we're not busting a move on the dance floor together. We're not.
Yeah. You need that.
Yeah,
social,
needed that itch.
That young energy.
Something.
Social.
I needed to grind up on someone. I had to do it.
So did you accomplish that last night?
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. I'm so proud of you. Good job.
Thank you.
Gold star
Thank
for
you.
Brie.
Yeah, it was a good time, and it was a great follow-up in following that horrible date that I had on Friday.
That's why I said COVID isn't fake. Was basically because of your date. So you need to tell everybody about what happened.
I mean, we don't even have enough time.
Like, did you say that to him? Like,
mess.
let me show you the voice note from my friend who has COVID right now.
No,
asshole.
he wasn't saying. Okay, so for context,
I thought you said
I didn't say
COVID
that.
Okay.
For context,
I thought you
said
COVID was fake.
No, he said that the hysteria was fake. Like he believes that people are getting sick, but his take was that like the government blew it out of proportion to scare us. They wanted to like frighten us into a corner because he was like, it didn't make sense that we were wearing masks outside. And I was like, no, I understand that doesn't make sense now. We have more information about what protects us. And listen, I'm not sleeping in bed with the government. They're not telling me what they do and do not know. I don't know. But what my understanding is that like we were scared and we had every reason to be. People were fucking dying. Like we were scared. Anyway, this dude was, and that conversation where he's like, like the hysteria, it was all, a hoax to get us to, I was like, this was the first 5 minutes. I hadn't even told him who I was.
Your sign.
How long have I been here? I didn't get to tell him I was a Libra. My mom asked me, I was having a conversation with her yesterday, and she asked me, she was like, because she was just hearing how horrible it was, and she was like, did you find out if you had any like sisters? It's a big thing for my mom. She's very stuck on it. She really thinks it's important to date a guy that has sisters because they understand women. I was like, Mom, you can understand women, or you can have compassion and empathy for women without having a sister. But she sort of stuck in her brain. And I was like, Mom, I couldn't even ask a question. This man did not let me get a word in. He interrupted me after he would ask me a question, I'd answer, and he would interrupt me before I could even start. So it was awful. Like his like radical views aside, that really wasn't the issue, although it was the issue. Some of it was the issue. Some of his views I had a much bigger issue with than others. He said some really fucking neck shit. But my issue was that like, I don't know if you're in a manic state or you just blew a bunch of cocaine. One of the two. Because he was rapid fire. And he's telling me about his ayahuasca trips. One of these moments I was like, who hurt you? Are you okay?
Yeah,
Are you
you're
okay?
like, let me just put my therapist hat on real quick.
Literally. I was like, so I gave him
That's
feedback
too much work
on
for a
this date.
first date. Yeah, I'm so
I
proud
gave him
to tell
feedback.
this part of the story. So good.
Well, so he had me screaming. I've never screamed on a date. I've never yelled. I'm
still trying to envision this because, like,
Process
knowing
it.
you and hanging out with you, and like, I'm trying to
Why
like,
would I yell?
yeah, because it's like that's just like you got.
I
can't.
can get passionate. Okay,
I believe that, but like in this setting, it's just like what? You know what I mean?
I'll paint a picture. So we're in West Palm.
Paint it, baby.
We're on Clematis Street. We're at this bar, but they like shut down Clematis Street. Yeah, you have a Clematis.
Oh no, I just remember that street.
Yeah, girl. I'm hitting at some core memories right now.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so we're on Clematis Street. We're at this bar, but they shut down the street. So there's like picnic tables outside. There's games outside. They're like, it's very cool. It's great. So we go sit at one of those picnic tables, and he's telling me that he thinks that kids shouldn't be talked to about sex because like gay parents are making their kids gay. And I was like, I'm going to need to stop you right there because what you're saying is wrong. And so I'm starting to be like, yo, I'm going to need to stop you. I'm going to pause. Let's pause here. And he wouldn't let me finish. He starts interrupting me already. And this was after an hour of him interrupting me, talking over me, not letting me get a word in edgewise. So I took his shoulders and I looked at him. I said, I can see your gears turning. I'm going to need you to shut up. I'm going to need you to shut up right now. And I need you to listen to me. Everything that you just said is harmful and wrong and fucking stupid. I didn't say it was fucking stupid. I was like, this is actually factually wrong. This is factually wrong. And I don't even know why I was debating with him, but I was just heated. So I just start counter arguing, and I shouldn't have even done it. I should have just stopped with like, you're wrong. Needless to say, I don't know why I stayed longer. I shouldn't have. Honestly, it was like the experience of it all. I was like, maybe this is a good story.
You're like, let me get back on that train and go home now.
Yeah, and so I'm talking to him at the bar a little bit after, and he's like, I need to give you some feedback if that's okay. And he was like, what? I said, you really need to fucking listen. You really, like, you be cutting me off. You need to listen. Like, you have your views, your opinions, like, I might feel some type of way about them, but, like, do you, boo? But, like, it's really hard for me to talk to you. Like, that's been hard. Needless to say, this man still wanted to keep seeing me. I did all of that. I'm shouting. I'm yelling. I'm telling him that this has been like a pretty bad experience. And he's like, I would love to keep seeing you.
Dude, it's like he doesn't know anything about you.
He literally knows nothing about me.
Yeah, so I don't wonder. It's okay. So you're done. Next, thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for playing.
I just can't.
I told him, I was like, it's not going to happen. But good luck out there in these streets.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not kidding. I think that we should someday write a book with like the worst date stories, and it can be a collaborative thing. We could have listeners write in. They could each have their own chapter of their worst date stories because it's a thing.
Yeah.
It is such a thing. And this will be chapter 1.
It's chapter 1. If you have bad date stories, like, we definitely want to hear them. Like, I'd love to like read a bunch of emails about bad date stories.
Email us info@ditchthescriptpod.com.
Mm-hmm. Or put it in our like question box. If you can put it in our question box on our website, ditchthescriptpod.com. Go there. Let us know.
Yeah.
I'd love to read it. I feel lucky that I haven't had a whole host of really horrible dates. My mom asked me, she was like, how could you have prevented meeting someone like this? And I was like, you can't. No. Obviously, there are lots of red flags that you can sort of try to be aware of before you even get to meet someone in person. But on a dating app, it's like, sometimes you don't know till you know, and it shouldn't stop you from dating. You got to go.
Yeah, especially if someone like doesn't put their belief systems in their bio, like what am I
Yeah.
gonna put? I think that the COVID hysteria is fake, that like no one's gonna list those ideologies in their
Right.
profile. I
Right.
wish they would, because then I would be like, okay, great, thank you for
Well,
not wasting my
this is
time.
interesting actually because this is an interesting conversation to sort of have. And then I guess we got to get to Love Island, but we like we could honestly just keep chatting about this. But what's interesting about this is that so he did have his profile. I'm not even worried about him hearing this because he already blocked me on Instagram. I
Yes.
swerved him and he blocked me on Instagram. I was like, great, that's wonderful. My job
Nice.
is done. Yeah, it's beautiful. So his profile did say apolitical and spiritual, which I'm not reading into the religion thing. It says spiritual. And so I think what's important for me is like, I don't want to not go out with someone because they note themselves as apolitical, because until I actually meet you, I don't actually know what that means.
Right.
I'm also even a left-leaning, more liberal person. I'm still open to going out on a date with someone who's conservative because I don't like it. The two parties, it's too binary, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of conservative views that I really disagree with, like fundamentally disagree with. But I also know, and I have the privilege of having some relationships in my life with people who are moderate and right-leaning, that we are able to have respectful, open-minded conversations with one another.
That's
You know what I mean? Like
amazing.
I know that that's possible. I know that it also takes two to tango with it. Like
Always.
there's a really good friend of mine where like we don't agree on a lot of shit, but we do commit to listening to one another. We do agree to commit to not interrupting each other when the other is speaking, even if it's something that they feel strongly about.
What?
What?
No way.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I more power to you because
You're like, not for
I
me.
yeah, I'm like I if I romantic friendships, yes, friendships absolutely. If there's respect, if there's mutual, open-mindedness around whatever, totes my goats.
Yeah.
And I have had those experiences too. Totally fine. Romantically, I want some me. This is Alex speaking for Alex. This is not to each their own. Everyone has different thresholds. I'm a little bit more like, no, I wouldn't be able to be in the same building with you if we can't agree on like,
Yeah.
women should have rights to go
Rights.
fucking get an abortion. Thank you.
We're not
Okay.
even talking about equal rights anymore. We're just talking about rights, period.
Yes, like
Yeah.
Jesus, I can't.
I feel you. But also it's like, yes, 100%. Like there are views and values that we do not need to compromise on. That being one of them.
Yeah.
It should go without saying, but unfortunately we have to say it. But if
I feel
I'm
like we
going to
went
meet
backwards.
someone, yeah, I know. Well, we have. I feel like I do want to be able to meet someone and get a feel like, where are your values? And sometimes that doesn't happen unless you meet someone. Where do your
Totally.
values lie? Because I don't want
Yes.
someone to just like make an assumption about me, assuming what kind of liberal I am, just because I'm noted as a liberal.
True.
So I want the same thing.
There's different flavors. There's different levels to all labels that we put on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Word.
again, like
Okay.
when we discover these things that are like truly non-negotiables, deal breakers, we have to honor that and and honestly, it's okay to be clear about it too. I didn't tell this dude that it's not going to work because we have two very different like viewpoints on life and that would never be compatible in a relationship, because I didn't need to say all that. He asked me if I wanted to see him again, and I just told him no. Like I wasn't like, I don't need to explain myself.
No.
And also that was just one of the reasons why that would have never worked in a million years. So
For real.
But if you feel like you're in a situation where you've like discovered that you have very different viewpoints and it's not something that you can see yourself growing with each other on,
Keywords.
then yeah, then like, and by that I don't even mean like, okay, I'm just waiting for you to like start believing in my beliefs. It's like, no, do we come from different places, but do we allow each other to like grow as people, and do we hold each other accountable, and do we have mutual respect and whatever. But it's okay to let someone know, like, listen, we have very different views on the world. It's not for me. It's not a vibe. It's not my vibe.
100. Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
Island of Love.
Island of Love.
Let's go.
Fucking love this show so much. It is such a happy place for me.
That's hilarious. I'm glad it's such a happy place for you.
Is it a sad place for you?
It's not a sad place for me. I'm just like, am like screaming at the TV, like, you're a crazy bitch, stop. Like, I'm just like, you know, do I really think that, like, I'll say something like that, and do I 100% mean it? No. I think in some of the instances that happened in this last week of episodes is, like, so immature, so egotistical, so, like, there's just, and so it's like that. It's like a labor of love, kind of, for me.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally. Also, like, we have to keep in mind that we're approaching the show, like, with, like, a pen and paper. Like, we're really... Like, we're not really, like, watching it just for the sake of it being, like a comfort show anymore. No, we're not kicking back. We're, like, tuning in.
Yes. And I have to look at it from that lens. So it's, like, it's a little bit more of that than, you know, other shows. By the way, there are the occasional shows that I will watch that are, like, reality TV and dating that we don't even talk about on the show, and I can just consume it for the sake of consuming it, and that's enjoyable for that. But sure. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to whatever we're covering on this show, it's always like, let me pull my pen and paper out now and, like, look at it through, like, attachment style lenses and, like, da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, so whatever.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about, we have to talk about sort of, like, the movement of, like, who comes on, who leaves, and all of that. But there are some people who are handling the stress of the circumstances very well. And then there are other people who are really struggling.
Toxic.
Yeah. That's why the show's interesting. It's because, like, you can't rely on your typical, like, avoidant type of behaviors when it comes to dating, because you are locked in a bubble around each other. So things that you get away with, like lying and, like, doing things with other people, like that could, not the lying, but doing things with other people before you've had a chat with someone could be okay out in the world, but it's not okay in this circumstance, in this fishbowl. We'll get into that. Yes. I want to know how you feel about that. So basically, let's just run down who's here. Girl, that's one of the big moments. So Remy and Jay come in. We see Afia leave. Afia leaves. And then eventually we get a new girl, Danica. She comes in later.
Yes.
So those are the new players. We've got all of the rest of the girls and the guys, but those are the new players. So we sort of start off this week with, like, everyone's dating. The two new guys, Remy and Jay, are dating new people. And they have the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Or not the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The starter, main, and dessert dates. Was there anything that jumped out at you from that experience? No. But we also need to touch on Jacques entering, because we ended last week's episode with that. So Jacques comes in, which is Gemma's ex. Yeah, no, it's okay. So Jacques comes in, which is Gemma's ex. And this is right after Davide and Ekin-su, like, couple up together officially. And then literally immediately, Ekin-su goes and tests the water with Jacques. Mm-hmm. So it's just, like, funny to me how this this low-key becomes a pattern. But yes, so now we have the new people, Jacques, Jay, Remy. Jacques ends up coupling up with Paige. Yep.
and they kind of become an item. And then by the time Remy and Jay come in, it's a little bit like we don't have many single girls other than do we even have any single girls when they're picking
No,
their
we don't, because
appetizer?
Afia left because
Yeah.
Jocks picked Paige.
Yes. So here we go. So let me get to that part in my notes because I wrote down who they picked.
Wait, really quick. I'm glad
Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought this back because I forgot that that's where that started. Luca's response when Gemma's ex comes in with that's obviously
So
like
true.
a notable that's a notable stressor. Like seeing your having your ex come in and like being there and being dating other people, you're not sure, especially in this situation, you're not sure if they're there to like get this person back. You don't know if maybe they're not there to get each other back, but maybe they just click and they just like gravitate towards each other. You don't know what's going to happen. So we see Luca. Honestly, he's a sourpuss. My opinions on him have changed in a more positive way, but what I do notice about Luca is that he is a fucking sourpuss. When he is upset about something, he is just a whiner. He's a whiner.
He is. Yeah, it's really this is what I think is so funny about these shows is like you can tell. Okay, when it comes to what I do with my clients, I really take the time to educate them on like these responses, these emotional outbursts that we have are really our inner child wounds coming out, right? So it's not like our adult selves reacting. It's like the 10-year-old version, the 7-year-old version of us.
Yeah.
So it's really funny to kind of watch those little outbursts happen, and it's like, what inner child wound is that? What inner child wound is that coming out? You know what I mean? When you have Luca being a sourpuss because he's like, man, my girl's ex is here, and like, how do I measure up to him? And like, what's this about? And like hyper vigilant around where that's going to go.
He got
so
insecure.
So insecure.
Well,
and like
he worked pretty hard to get her, and then all of a sudden he had her for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. And so then, well, actually, I think this is a really good point for us to bring up as well. So Luca's feeling insecure, and then Gemma goes and makes the mistake of calling him Jacques by accident. Do you remember that? And she walks away to like, and he walks away. But instead of her immediately going after him, being like, I'm so sorry, like, it was an innocent mistake, like, because I've done that before. I've called a guy I was dating by not another guy that I dated, but, like, a guy friend's name. And it was obvious.
It could be taken just as bad, you know?
Oh, it was. It was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a story for another day. But I was like, I'm sorry. It was because I was at Stagecoach, and the year before I was at Stagecoach with this other guy friend, and then the following year I went with this guy I was dating. And so it was like, when that happened, his insecurity came out. And it was like, I had to do immediately was like, I'm so sorry. Like, please understand. Like, it was just because like this exact same time when I was trying to get an Uber at 2 a.m. Yeah, it was the setting that triggered that memory,
Yeah. And our brains work like that.
It does. And so what I thought was weird was Gemma didn't do that. She like went away to like go be alone, I guess. And then Jacques comes to her aid. And I'm like, guys, this is worse. And so sure enough.
Yeah, you're making this worse.
That's exactly what Luca said when he went and he's like, well, why are you going to talk to this dude? Like, don't you see how that makes it look a little bit weirder?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm glad that he eventually, like, in that same conversation, like, dropped it, but, Gemma's not doing herself many favors in these first moments when Jacques is here. She's not.
Agreed.
She's, like, straddling the fence. Yeah.
Well, and I think Gemma's behavior, her patterns, rather, and I say this with, like, a lot of respect for her. I really do appreciate how she handles herself, period, but especially on this show. But what I notice about her patterns is like she's only going to do and say enough to fulfill what she feels like is appropriate. So if she says, I'm sorry, it was a mistake, Gemma's like, I'm saying it once. You either took it or I'm walking away. And in some ways, I think that's a good boundary to have. Like, it's pretty useful. But in other ways, it's like, meet your person in the middle, like they're upset.
Be compassionate. Yeah.
Yeah.
She does have
Yeah.
a bit of a mean girl vibe in that way, I've noticed consistently, where she's very like, she has a big wall up. She's not a warm girl. And she's always like trying, because I was thinking about this even in the last episode, like she's always pushing Luca to come to her, and it's like, girl, meet him halfway. Meet him halfway. So
I know.
A little bit of an avoidance there.
Yeah.
So
I do fuck with her though. Like, I fuck with her. I would really
What do you
like
mean?
her. Is that
Yeah.
because I like her, and I don't know why. I totally agree with you. I think that like she's definitely not a warm person. And
No.
I think that's a combination of just her being who she is, plus her having that wall up like you're talking about.
Yeah.
There are avoidant things, but at the same time, like, I appreciate her. She is compassionate for other people. Like, she's considerate of other people's feelings. I like that she's sort of a quiet observer. I also think that it's badass that like her ex came through, starts dating all these people. She has nothing to say. She's like, I'm just here. Like, she's quiet about it. What?
Yeah, totally. I agree. I am trying to figure out why no one has asked them why they broke up. Like, I was like, wouldn't that be your first question? That would be mine. I'd be like, did he cheat on you? Like, why'd you break up? Because, like, if I'm gonna go date this guy, I want to know, like, what is there any issue, or was it just like a distance thing? Was it like a compatibility thing? Like, what was it? And no one ever asked that, and it was kind of like, even to him either. And so Luca even said, he's like, fuck, I hope he cheated. Because, like, in Luca's mind, that's, like, the one excuse, well, like, Gemma won't take him back if he cheated, you know what I mean? But it is bothering me, like, and I don't know if that's just me being a nosy. No, I was going to say, like, is that me being nosy? But I think it's informative. It's, like, it's informative. It's like, if you have some kind of rapport, or lack thereof, with a person, like, and you can cater to, educating the rest of us on what went south in that and why you're not together now, then please enlighten me before I go and put my heart out there with this dude.
Totally.
So,
at least between Paige and Gemma.
Yeah, or but I just don't understand, like, why that wasn't the first conversation. Like, if I was Luca, if I was a dude, and I'd be like, yeah, so why'd you guys end up not working out? I would want to know, and same if I was a chick there. So, I don't know if we just didn't get that conversation in the edits, or what, but...
Yeah. Okay, we're going to come back to Gemma and Luca a little later. We're going to come, and I'm specifically reserving ekin-su and Davide for a little later.
Yes. So Jay and Remy, we're going to go back full circle to them.
Yeah. Jay and Remy, they come in, they're dating everyone. The only thing about the various meals that stuck out to me was this moment, because it sort of reinforces a thing that you and I talk about a lot here. This moment that Jay has on his date with Tasha, where he's like, I appreciated how he sort of approached this, but they're vibing. Tasha's sort of noting that she, like, you can tell that she's nervous. She's not just like saying that she's nervous in her confessional. Like, you can tell that she's like nervous.
Her body language.
100%. And as soon as he was like, okay, I'll see you later, she was like, she like let out a breath and immediately popped up and got out of there. Not because she wanted to get out of there, but because she wanted to be able to like neutralize, regulate, right?
Yeah.
What I appreciated that he did was, because they're like flirting, whatever. Tasha's flirty with everyone that she connects with at first. She sort of like knows what her power is and she uses it in those moments. Jay is like, let me know if I'm wasting my time trying to get to know you. I like that.
Me too.
I like that. It's direct.
Yeah. I really like Jay. From what I've seen from him so far, he seems like a really honest, direct dude. Like, just like no bullshit, and
Good
so
values.
I'm with you. I really appreciated that. And he asked that, he kind of like with every girl that he was entertaining that was coupled up, handled it with respect. Like, how solid is that? Where are you at? And I really appreciated that about him, because sometimes, and we see this, people come in with no respect for what's already been established, And as we also see, it fucks shit up in the villa. So
Yeah, it does.
I appreciated Jay being like, all right, am I wasting my
Yeah.
time?
And so she says, "You're not wasting your time."
Mm-hmm.
She gets up. She has a moment where she's like reflecting with herself, but she's also reflecting with the other girls, saying like she was really nervous. She was really excited. She's got like a pit in her stomach. Like she's feeling what we would call, quote, butterflies, right?
Right.
And what's interesting, we didn't know what was going to happen next, but I think that what you and I talk a lot about is like to fall for the thing that gives you butterflies is not necessarily indicative of like the stronger connection, the
Correct.
better match.
Yep.
It's like you really have to reflect on yourself. Like Andrew to her is not everything that she wants in a guy, but he happens to continue to be everything that she appreciates when they deal with stress together, whatever the issue is at the time. So she finds him reliable. She finds him to be a good time. They have their moment in the hideaway. This was like the night before also. They have their moment in the hideaway. Like they get a more intimate
cute.
side of one another. So she's connecting with him in all these other ways. But I'm sure there's a part of her that finds him to be boring in her, like receiving him as boring. Like it doesn't give those spikes of adrenaline.
Yeah.
She meets Jay. She's getting spikes of adrenaline. And all of a sudden she's like, oh shit, what do I do
this?
here?
Yeah. I think that it's been really interesting this has happened with a few of the connections where they will say that, like, yeah, it's not like I'm not obsessed, I don't want to rip their clothes. Like, they'll say something like that where it basically speaking to, like, the adrenaline spikes aren't there, but what is there is something that I really appreciate. And so they end up, like, what may look like on the outside looking in, playing it safe. But the reality is the stability within a relationship is what will stand the test of time. When you have these gnarly spikes of up and down, that's what it becomes. It's this roller coaster of passion and then like knockdown, drag out fights or complete disconnection. And it's like, that's not the vibe, right?
Right.
So I'm glad that Tasha, especially in this case that we're talking about, was able to kind of reflect and see the value in Andrew in that way, instead of just like following these feelings that are fleeting. All feelings are fleeting. So it's like, what at the end of the day, what matters? And so I like how you spoke to that a second ago when you were like, the way they handle stress together, she appreciates that in him,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm with you. Like, I totally agree, because, how someone handles stress really dictates how they show up in a relationship.
Yeah.
So
my parents have this little saying they've been saying for the last like 5 decades, I think, which is like, they're always like, if you're dating someone, take them out on the golf course, because golf is notoriously a frustrating game because 9 times out of 10, you're shit at it. So it's like, how does someone handle being bad at something? How does someone handle being frustrated in a competition? Like, how does anger show up? My dad's like, I've seen motherfuckers throw clubs, big aluminum pipes into the oblivion or even near someone else because they're upset. And he's like, you don't want to date someone like that. Or I don't want my daughter to date someone like that. So
nope.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that to take away from that moment, it's like butterflies have been coded and like bought and sold to us as like the thing that tells us like, this is the one. Always check yourself. Always check yourself. Ask yourself, especially if you're having that while you're seeing someone else. Is it not exciting? Or is it not exciting because you're not interested in them? Or is it not exciting because it's actually just staple?
Yeah. Very good question to ask yourself.
So then we sort of just see them take off from there. They continue to get stronger. They continue to be honest with each other. There are a couple moments, hiccups of like miscommunication because Jay gets that experience with Tasha. He's sort of convinced like your relationship's not as stable. She wants out, blah, blah, blah. And, when this gets brought up to Andrew, like Andrew has a reaction, but like a chilled one. He talks to Tasha. Tasha talks to Jay. Everyone clears everything. They are really good models of communication so far.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you agree?
because Luca and Gemma are not. I actually put that in here eventually. I was like, they do not communicate well. So
They do
later.
better than some of these other couples, but yeah, I put
There's one instance that I wrote where I was like, oh my gosh.
Okay, are we there yet?
No.
Oh,
At
okay,
least not
it's
in my
later.
notes. Yeah.
They have a couple of chats. The poor guys, they go through a lot in this week.
But yes, it's this dynamic, especially with Jay, Andrew, Tasha, it was just very clean and clear. Like boom, 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 done. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't blame Jay for thinking that, because you slept with, and well, God knows what happened in the hideaway, right? Like, she's with Andrew,
Yeah.
she has that intimate night, and the very next day she's telling this guy, yeah, I'm open to talking to other people. So I don't blame Jay for making the assumption or interpreting that as you're not bought and sold on Andrew, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't blame him for thinking that. And I don't blame him for being like man to man, like, hey, Andrew, BT dubs, not sure how stable that is. And so, like,
Totally.
it all happened the way it needed to happen, and I appreciate Tasha not, like, coming after Jay, but explaining herself, like, you know, when I thought about it, I see Andrew and I more being compatible outside of this than you and I, you know? And so, it was just good. It was great. So, then we move on. What happens next?
Well, let's sidestep just to take a look at, like, Amber and Dami's flow and Ikenna and India's flow, because they rarely sort of intertwine with all of this other drama that happens on the footing, but they're having their own sort of progressions and, like, backward progressions. So let's talk about India and Ikenna. So Ikenna is being sort of Remy, who's new, is taking an interest in Remy's taking an interest in India. And then I do mix their names up. Their names are coupled up well together.
I know.
So he's taking interest in India, and I think my take on India and, like, where things are going with Ikenna, I can tell that they like each other. I can tell that they're, like, comfortable being in their couple together. But the two of them are not vulnerable with each other ever.
At all.
Like, they may have some moments. Like, it's one thing to just, these are just different personalities than some of these other folks that, like, really wear their heart out on their sleeves, or so we think. But I get that they're just different kinds of people, but they're not taking any risks to be vulnerable with one another outside of clarifying, I like you. Do you like me? I like this. Do you like this? That's it.
Yeah.
So I think that they're holding themselves back from actually exploring and figuring this out a bit sooner, if they want to be in it or not.
Yeah, you know, it's, and I made this joke with you the other day, like, when you went on this awful date, because it's like, well, at least now you know, and you're not going to waste your time.
Right.
But, like, in the case of Ikenna and India, that's exactly what's missing, is there is no, like, okay, this is who I am, this is what I like, this is how I live my life. And, or at least we're not seeing that. And so it's like, India keeps kind of, you know, she comes to this point where she's like, I don't know, is this the right match for me? And then she, like, tries a little bit, and then she's like, okay, yeah, let's see where this goes. But then she always lands back on, like, something feels like it's missing. And it's because of that lack of exchange and vulnerability and, like, transparency of who they are as people and what they want out of this experience or this life, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. They're wasting precious villa time.
Well, and they keep wondering, like, what's missing. And it's like the two of you letting your guard down. Every time we get to a moment where they're recoupling and they choose each other every time.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, I know that it's only 2 weeks, but in this experience, under these circumstances, 2 weeks is a long time because you spend 24/7 with each other. Like, you're saying, you know, my walls are starting to come down. Like, girl, you should have remodeled the house, knocked down all of the walls, opened up a new floor plan, like, by the end of week 1, in my opinion.
Yeah, because now she could have had something with Remy, but she didn't even consider him because she was like, I'm going to figure out. But it's like, if she had had a vulnerable conversation with each of them in the same day, that would have brought so much clarity to her on, like, who do I feel comfortable opening up with? who is like comfortable opening up with me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
It's bad timing.
wasted opportunity.
Remy was too new, and it was at the same time that India was trying to make more of an effort with Ikenna.
Yeah.
So like she was trying to dial it up to see what would happen and to see how she would feel, and it happened to be in the same week that Remy was like really trying to get to know her. So
Yep.
it just didn't take.
Nope.
Anyway, that's them.
So that's
Amber
them. And then we have Dami and
Dami,
Amber.
who sort of they're horrible at communicating.
So bad.
Quite literally.
They have their
horrible.
first fight.
Which is, yeah. What'd you make of it?
It was weird. It was just so weird. Because it was like, I don't even remember what it was about. I feel like it was around kind of the same thing.
It's sort of like Dami wants Amber to be more affectionate because he's like, I want to be affectionate with you. Like she was like, but basically what he wasn't saying, what he should have said is like, I want to be more affectionate with you, but I don't feel like you're meeting me halfway. And he's right. Amber is like quite closed off, but she wants the affection. She wants him to open that door for her. She wants him to cuddle her, but she's not willing to put herself out there to go seek it, to go put that on the table.
Yet again, we come full circle to the whole I won't move unless you move first dynamic, which we talked about last week. And I'm so tired of seeing it happen because it happens all the freaking time. It's like, you cannot date from a place of, I'll be into you when you show me that you're into me. I'll be affectionate with you when you're affectionate with me. I'll trust you when you trust me. I'll open up to you when you open up to me. Because then you both are going to be waiting for the other person to make a move, and then nothing happens. And it drives me nuts. It's like someone take a leap of frickin' faith.
Well,
please.
I appreciate you saying that. I hear myself in that when you're talking about it, because I think that I've done that a lot in my life, and it's out of protection. Right? Like I think when we move like that, when you're playing like a chess game, you're not doing it to like be aloof and like get a reaction out of someone. It's like you're doing it to protect yourself because you don't want to put yourself out there in fear of what might happen if you do. Right? I'm going to get rejected. They won't like me, like, or maybe this type of behavior is going to put them off. And it's like, you might as well go for it and find out. Exactly. You'll get your answer a lot quicker.
Because you can sit here and understand out of self-preservation, I'm going to keep my, cards close to my chest, and you can guarantee where that's going to take you. Nowhere. So it's like just one card. You don't need to give all 52 away. You don't need to like read them your life story, but it's like just one piece. And I talk to clients about this all the time because it's like, you need to pace yourself with opening up with vulnerabilities. Like, I don't think anyone should be trauma dumping on their first date. It actually leads you more susceptible to manipulation with the wrong people. Like, there's so many things. But when it comes to dating, especially when we're watching on Love Island in this container, it's like, that if you don't open up, you are quite literally guaranteeing that no connection's going to take off. So it's like, just take the risk. The worst thing that happens is, yes, you'll get rejected. Does that sting? Absolutely. But you will be more close to finding a legitimate connection than if you always live your life cards on your chest. Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah, totally. I'm with you. An interesting thing with them happens at the end of
Dami and Amber. Week. Yeah, I know. Oh my God.
So
ekin-su stirs the pot too, man. Oh, I wanted to come through the TV at her in that moment.
Listen, this is going to be the first of a number of critiques I have about ekin-su from this week. Ooh. She is so outside of like what we see from Amber, like really like getting in her own way of like building something even more than what her and Dami have, because they do have a good connection. I love Amber. She's one of my favorite people on the show so far because I love how I love her honesty with other people. I think that she's compassionate. I think that I watch her be a really good friend to other people.
Totally.
I watch her like, I really appreciate her presence on the island at the villa. I think what's interesting to hear is like, we don't notice this until the end of this week. But Jay makes a comment to Dami about his chemistry with India. Yeah. And later, Dami is having, and then we also see India making another comment about how she just doesn't feel like something's there with Ikenna, and we've sort of dialed in on what that is. And then we see Ekin-su make a comment to Dami about India as well, and about Amber in particularly, basically calling him out. And this is like the way that Ekin-su talks to people sometimes, which really bothers me. It's very like, it's putting someone on the spot in a really like, there's being direct, and then there's being like
calculated.
Abrasive. Yeah, exactly.
She's so calculated. It's annoying.
It's really annoying, dude. And so she just like puts him on the spot. She's like, you don't even like Amber. Come on. And it's just like, how does one react to that? You know, like, it's just fucking, it's weird. But anyway, everyone's sort of starting to plant a seed that like maybe Dami would have a better connection with India. And then Amber shows up and everyone gets really awkward. And I'm only making a note of this because Ekin-su absolutely gaslights her, where she's like, Amber's noticing that the conversation stopped and that everyone is like being just weirder. Like the vibes are off. Like her intuition is telling her, hey, what's just happened here? And she asked a number of times, she's like, are you okay? And Ekin-su's like, yeah, I'm fine. And she's like, okay, what's going on here? Like everyone's just really serious. And obviously no one's going to be like, we were just talking about you. Although I've seen people do that on Love Island. They were like, just talking about you. Well, and not only that,
then just say, like, we were just having a heart-to-heart about, you know, couples and, like, blah, blah, blah. So, like, just say something. But instead, Ekin-su's like, what are you talking about? And that's, like, ooh.
And she's like, are you okay? And Amber's like, I mean, I thought I was okay. Like, her intuition's telling her that something's off. And people are lying to her around her to, like, cover up. And it's just fucking weird. Ekin-su's behavior is really fucking weird.
It is. I don't like it. I've not liked it since the beginning. And, like, it's only been, you know? Yeah. Okay, that's all I'm going to say right now.
Let's back up. What I guess one other thing to note is that Paige and Jax. I want to say Jocks because of how it's spelled, but they keep pronouncing it Jax. Her and Jax are like, they're getting to know each other slowly. They do some like love bomby type of like, what do your parents think of me? Like, what would a date be like? Things like that. I don't know if that's love bomby. Maybe that's too harsh. Yeah, like what kind of dogs are we going to get? I do know that that's just how people flirt sometimes. But however, they're getting to know each other pretty slowly. They're physically very affectionate. Yeah. But they haven't made out.
To our knowledge, yeah. Yeah, well, they must not be a very interesting couple. They're not interesting because we don't get a lot of them time.
They're not serving the drama. I think they like each other, but I also think that they're not trying to rush it in case other people drop in.
Yeah. So
I have no other notes about them. Who do we want to talk
about next? Yeah, same.
I want to talk about Davide, Ekin-su, and Jay. And I call it the Ekin-su and Jay display.
Yeah, so, you know, my issue with Ekin is that she's so,
a liar.
Yes, and calculated and manipulative. And she is so, like, I think she's so focused on being I talk about this a lot too, the couple that's like the Instagram couple, like the best looking, most marketable, like, you know, this is who we are, instead of what does Ekin actually want. I don't think she has a freaking clue what she truly wants or values in a relationship. And here's why I think that, because Jay walks in, she has her date with him, and, you know, the next morning, because now Davide is, like, obviously threatened, so he brings her, like, a coffee or tea in the morning, and her first remark is she asks the group, do you think Jay would do this for me? And it's
What
like,
the fuck does anyone know?
Yeah, what does anyone know? Do you know that that's something that you want and you value? I mean, supposedly, but I can't tell if she wants and values that because that's what everyone else is getting, or because and she doesn't want to be left out, or if that's because something that she really wants. You see what I'm saying? And so it always becomes
probably both.
And so it becomes this, like, she's like, before she even just sits down to be like, okay, who am I more excited to see? Like, before she even gets there, it's this, like, you know, do you think that he would meet this standard? Like,
yeah,
you know? And it's like, oh my goodness, girl, who do you want? Like, what do you want? I feel like that scene in the frickin' Notebook when Noah's asking Allie, like, what do you want? Like, that's literally what I feel. And then she goes about exploring the connection with Jay in such a shitty way, and it was not okay. It was so not okay.
Okay, that behavior that you're noting, ekin-su is like, she's constantly looking to hear other people confirm a thing that she wants to believe herself. So I think it's a combination of her not knowing what she wants, as you noted, and insecurity. Because
massive insecurity.
I don't think that she trusts herself to gauge the quality of someone's character or her connection with them. She doesn't trust herself. So that's why she's like, do you think he would do this? And these girls are like, I don't see why not. I don't know. Like, and she asks this a lot. The amount of times that she asks someone else's opinion is like irritating. There's another example that's very clear to me, but I don't want to give it away too soon before we even get there.
Okay.
Anyway, she sucks. So
yeah,
she starts to like Jay, and honestly, like, she's ready to stick it on with anyone who's ready to stick it on back. Like, to your point, she doesn't know what she wants. Everyone's hot. I don't fault her for like.
She just wants to be wanted.
She wants to be wanted. Yeah, she's and what she uses, and this is my assumption. Take it with a grain of salt, people. But like, she wants to be wanted, and she uses words, statements, and body language to like to fill in the gaps, right? Mm-hmm. Right. So it's like, you make me feel like this, or like, I feel like this when I'm around you. It's like, that could be the honest truth, but I just don't trust her enough to like believe that it is. I hate to kind of do this to her, but I'm going to say it. As an actor, I think that she has a good idea of like what are appropriate, like consumable, believable stories.
Oh yeah.
And I think she uses that to her advantage.
Yeah, she's massively insecure, and her ego overhead is huge because, like, from the get-go, she's like, I'm 27, and, you know, she always is using her age as, like, so because I'm the oldest here, I need to get, like, the best pick. Like, she's always kind of positioning herself as, like, that. And
that's because she's scared.
She's so insecure. And when Danica comes in, we see that times a million. And I was like, this is hypocritical. Yeah.
Wild.
So Ekin-su has her first secret terrace meeting with Jay, which I was like, how old are you? 12? Like, this was, to me, the instant that she asked Jay to meet her in the terrace, you know, she's like, I'm going to go up, and then in like 3 minutes, you meet me up there. Everyone liked my really bad British accent.
No, I thought it was great, but I'm an American. So.
They're probably, yeah, exactly. They're probably over there listening like, God, girl, stop. At least I can laugh at myself. Yeah. And so the second that happened, I was like, this is giving me third grade flashback playground vibes, like, seriously, like, where I asked a boy to meet me by the water fountain because he gave me a kiss on the cheek there and we wanted privacy for it. Like, literal memory. And I'm like, this is so childish. So she goes up there, they have their hot and steamy makeout session, first time, cool. And then she goes back downstairs and immediately goes, Davide, I'm hungry, make me food. What? Like, it really made me mad for Davide because I'm like, girl, you're getting, and how dare you? It's like, how would you feel if the roles were reversed and she found out someone did that to her? She would go through the roof.
The massive display of, like, victimhood that she puts herself in over the next 2 days is, like,
insane.
It's insane. So then So she doesn't tell anyone about it. And again, this is sort of call back to what I was talking about earlier. Like, if she wanted to fuck around and date other people while she was building a connection with Davide outside, like in the real world, that probably would have been fine. But you're in this bubble. You can't do shit without people knowing about it. So she gets upset that people are nosy. But it's like, we all live in a house together. What do you expect? So the next night they go out on the terrace again. People take notice that they're both missing. Like, there's a big villa, but there's only so many places where you could be. They assume, okay, so they're on the terrace. Okay, people are they don't know exactly what's happening, but no one's an idiot, and you've got like 10 minds coming together to be able to put the dots together and just be like, yeah. They're together. So Davide looks like an asshole. He looks like a fool. He doesn't look an asshole. He looks like a fool. And she comes down she tells Gemma that she's kissed him. And Gemma is like, listen, you're going to need to tell him. And I would strongly suggest sooner rather than later would serve you best. And she's like, okay. And then Gemma's like, listen, he's coming over. You might need to kick this into gear now. They talk. He asks her flat out, were you on the terrace with Jay? She says no. And then what we see after that is an entire display of deflection on her part. She is deflecting. She is redirecting the conversation to be like, I'm exploring this relationship because I haven't been happy with the lack of effort on your part. And then Davide is getting defensive, being like, I didn't want to make 100% of the effort because I was afraid that some bullshit like this was going to happen. But he says it in his broken English, and it's really cute. But it's my heart softened for Davide this week because I listen, I don't have to agree with all of his reactions, and I certainly didn't really appreciate how he handled the rest of this whole like experience. However, like I think that she's the fucked up one in this situation for sure.
Because again, the sliminess of it all. Like, Davide is having an emotional reaction, right? Like, is that a mature person can regulate their emotions and be like, oh, okay, I'm getting a little heated. I'm going to take myself for a walk real quick and we'll come back and clean this up in a bit. And but he doesn't do that. He lets his Italian stallion run wild and free, okay, fine. But what is slimy about ekin-su is exactly all the things we've been saying, is like, it's calculated, it's manipulative, it's deceitful. And that what doesn't sit well with anybody, right? And so she has this interaction where she's like deflecting. Why are people so nosy? Why are they? I can't help every time I go to quote her now. I have to like be in her accent. Sorry,
in her accent.
But
keep
she's
it consistent,
like,
babes.
Why? No, I need to hard stop it because this is gonna this is not the kind of humor Alex. That nope. This isn't one of her talents. So she.
It's not mine either.
Yeah, so she's like, why are people wondering where I am? Why are people so nosy? Which is her deflecting. And then he just goes up super man-to-man to Jay and is like, were you on the terrace with Ekin? And he was like, yeah. Yeah. And so then he like loses it and starts calling her liar. That was pretty good.
Right. That was pretty good.
Thank you. I'll be here next week, everybody.
And every week after that. Jay did the right thing. I think.
Agreed. I think he handled it. He handled this entire night like a champ. Like, he really did, I feel. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He needed to not lie about it. Ekin-su, I can appreciate that she would have wanted to like have a chat with him and tell him, be honest, but that was never going to happen. People were going to find out. So you needed to like, if you did something, and let's say, because she's like, I went on my feelings, I backed myself, I went on my okay, fine. So you had a feeling, you were horny, let's call a spade, and you wanted to make out with this guy. Okay, so you leaned in, and then you should realize, okay, I went feelings first. Let me go clear the rest of this up now, because now I got to go have a chat. You go downstairs. Come on, have you never watched Love Island before? You go downstairs, you pull your couple, you have a chat, and you say, listen, I like Jay. Something actually just happened. Because why? You don't want to make your couple look like a mug, okay? Mm-hmm. You don't want to make them look like a mug, and that's exactly what she did. But instead, she made herself look like a mug in the process, because the thing is, it's like you just needed to talk about it. What she really needed to do is she needed to talk to Davide earlier and be like, this is what I wish happened. Davide, I've been frustrated with the fact that I feel like you're not making a consistent effort. She did already start that conversation a couple of days earlier. She could have revisited it and said, I feel like it's inconsistent on when you like do little things for me that reassure me that you're interested. And that's not consistent. And it's made me feel like I want to pull back, or at least it's made me feel like I want to get to know these other people. I don't know how you're feeling, but I've now since connected with Jay. I am starting to be more interested. I want to explore that. So I'm going to have chats with him. I'm going to have private chats with him. And then if she kissed him, that wouldn't be such a big fucking deal.
Nope. No. And, yeah, you know, I literally put in my notes, I'm like, the issue isn't that she's into Jay, it's that she's doing it behind Davide's back, you know? Like,
yeah.
And it's the same thing, like, I know we're talking about very much this context of the villa, but, like, even out in the real world with dating, like, you don't necessarily owe people an explanation of who you're into and how many people you're talking to, but I think the normalcy should be like, yeah, we're dating and I'm dating other people, and like when I make a decision on who I want to, and again, you don't need to use those exact words, but there needs to be some transparency, because again, none of us have an issue that someone wants to date multiple people. It's when it's deceitful or not upfront that it becomes an issue. You know, because it needs to be a matched playing field. If I'm like only dating you and that's what Davide was feeling, is like he's only dating ekin-su and she's going around dating Davide, but then behind his back exploring this thing with Jay, and that feels really icky. So it's like, just don't do that to people. Treat other people the way you want to be treated. I feel like I say this every week now, and I don't understand, because like I said before, if the roles were reversed here, ekin-su would have gone. She would have been throwing stuff off the terrace.
And Andrew says this. He's like, if the shoe was on the other foot, she would have every right to be upset. So it's like, I see Amber like make little comments towards ekin-su a lot. I think that something's going to heat up between them, because obviously we see at the end of this week that like ekin-su planned some stuff with Dami. Anyway, Amber and Ekin are not, they don't jive. I think Amber tries to be honest with her when it feels appropriate, because I think that she truly can't tolerate ekin-su like just on and on about her own bullshit for as long as she does, and then like not make a comment when she's just being like mad hypocritical, like in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different circumstances. So anyway, they blow up, like it gets heated, and they start yelling.
I have to say this, I freaking applaud Andrew for being like, he asked you if you went to the terrace and you said no. No offense. That's a lie, Ekin.
That's a lie.
Because she was like, she kept trying to say like, but I didn't. And he's like, yes, you did.
Yes, you did. You lied. Yeah.
And so it like, he did it in such a calm, chilled out way, and but very like stuck to his guns. And I was like, that is like a king right there. And Andrew, I did not have the best Andrew vibes initially, but like after that interaction, I was like, he's honest. I really applaud the fact that you're able to articulate that as black and white and as calmly and as compassionately as you can. You know, because he's saying like, no, you lied, but he's doing it in like the kindest way that he possibly can with her. And so it's like, everyone needs an Andrew. Like, I'm glad the villa has an Andrew, because otherwise she would have been enabled to keep like trying to justify what she did and believe her own lie of like, I didn't lie. But you did.
Right. I find Gemma in this evening to also be like a pretty good medium support for ekin-su. Like, she doesn't want to make her feel alone. So she's like, I've got your back, but she gives it to her. She was like, you need to have that conversation with him sooner. You needed to talk about it. Like you're gonna need to talk to him tomorrow. Right. Like, so it's just, anyway, she slips into this like victimhood, really like really, really clinging to, I went with my feelings. That's fine. No one's upset that you're interested in someone else. People are upset about how you went about it. Like
Yeah.
you weren't careful with that. And even if you just went feelings first, you did nothing to try to recover it or make it right or do the honorable thing. Instead, you blamed it on this other
You just
person.
went with
And then
your
you're like,
feelings.
yeah, right. And then he just went with his feelings. So he gets upset. And then she's pointing to him being like, what an asshole he is to talk to me that way. How disrespectful. I don't want to talk to someone who disrespects me like that. It's like, you have zero awareness, I don't think she actually has zero awareness. I think she chooses to not tap into that awareness because it would make her look like the person that initiated this. Yeah.
And she then does a little bit of triangulation with Jay, because she sits when Jay pulls Ekin, which again, Ekin didn't even have the balls to go up to Jay and be like, okay, I'm really sorry. Like, this is what happened. Jay pulls her and is like, so I need you to know, again, Jay, brownie points. I told the truth. I told him I kind of started this whole thing. And then immediately ekin-su is like, I can't believe he talked to me like that. And then she asks, like, would you talk to me like that if we ever got in an argument? And I'm like, what? He's going to be like, yeah, actually, I scream and I also beat women that I date too. Like, what? Like, is he just going to sit there and be like, yes, I scream and am verbally abusive?
Her head is in a million different places at the same time. Like, she's frustrated about Davide. She's upset about how he's reacting. And then at the same time, she's still trying to be like, can you tell me that you're the kind of man that I want you to be? It's like, girl, so I just don't buy it. It's just bullshit. Like, those were crocodile tears for me.
100%. 100 agreed. Like, it's, again, she's positioning herself as the victim, excuse me, that was a burp, y'all. Pitting Davide and Jay against each other in this weird way, which doesn't work because Jay's too mature for that. Like, he, the next day, is, like, having a conversation with Davide. So, girl, you're gonna be found out. You're gonna be found out.
Yeah.
She already is found out here on DTS, but
Listen, we got your pegs, girl.
We have the sexy challenge, which is where Danica is introduced on the seashell. So she comes out.
I have nothing to say. I have nothing to. Right. She's cute. She's beautiful. I have nothing to say about this challenge. The challenges are like, I have such a love-hate relationship with them because they like constantly reinforce like just features of the patriarchy that just like really get me down. They really do. However, it's entertaining, and the only reason why sometimes the challenges add to the drama because they like add new elements. They push the plot, right?
Or
but this
like
one did
this.
Not.
Wait, did you not see ekin-su kiss Davide on the cheek before grabbing Jay in this challenge? I wanted to be like, how dare you? Like, I was just shocked. Like, what was that? Like, oh my God.
I don't understand any of her choices.
The only thing I could think during that entire thing was, what would I do? Like, what would be my moves? Like, and by the way, they have?
You'd probably be pretty great.
I feel like I need to practice just in case I ever end up on one of these shows. Anyway, Tasha killed it. She did great.
That's what I think every time. That's what I think every time I go get a wax. I'm like, I'm just practicing in case I go on Love Island.
There you go.
I don't know how they stay like hairless and waxed. Not that they need to, but they do. How do they do that?
Maybe they have someone come in. I always think the same on shows like Bachelor, and because like they'll get their nails done,
Bachelor
so they have to like either have someone come in or they buy out like a nail salon or something, like something,
or they're press-on nails.
I guess that's true, but like, I just don't know. I feel like they can't not. I don't know. Maybe they all wax each other's cooch.
They do. I've seen older. 100%. So her name's Danica. I want to call her Danica because also that's how it's spelled. Too. It's Danica.
Yeah. Danica.
Anyway, she comes in. She's gorgeous. She has the opportunity to get to know both Remy and Davide as single people, and she doesn't really. And what we're left with. And this is a shit position to be in because what we're left with is She has to decide who she's going to couple up with. Like they have like an emergency recoupling at the end of the day, with like less than 24 hours of being there. Horrible. It's her first night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you want to go there? Let's go there.
Which part? Because the part I want to go to is ekin-su being super hypocritical and rude to her. That's what I want to go to. Where do you want to go to?
Let's start there.
Okay,
But let's start with ekin-su.
Okay, so ekin-su, like, so they're all up on the terrace and they're talking about, you know, how old are you, who, and like all this stuff. So of course ekin-su is like, you know, because they're talking about like, do you date guys older than you or younger, blah blah blah. ekin-su's like, I'm 27, I'm gonna be 28 in August, so for me I date guys 28 plus, just saying, is what she said, aka stay the F away from Jay, is what she's trying to say.
Amber calls that out.
Yes, exactly. Amber calls that out. And I really appreciate that because I'm so over this, like, subliminal, like, again, manipulative like, it's just weird. And so then, later that night, after they all get beautified for pre-recoupling, they don't know what's going to happen yet, ekin-su is putting on a freaking show for Tasha and Paige down at the lower level of the villa. I'm totally guessing, but in my mind, that's where it is. And she's like, she's going to shove her boobs out and her butt out, and she's going to be like, I'm Danica, and like flip her hair. And then I think it was Paige or Tasha, but one of them was like, yeah, but that's what you do. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. Somebody's calling her out. So I just really, it's just really funny to me to see so clearly someone that is like behaving in this manner, like very hypocritical, calling, like trying so hard to position themselves as like, you know, I'm the victim, this person's the real issue here, but it's like, Danica's been here for less than a day and you're trying to act like she's gonna steal everybody's man, and it's like, you're the one around here man hopping, so let's not point the finger elsewhere.
That's a big ick for me. In general, like people who have like apply zero awareness, and like are really hypocritical about other people's behaviors when like they themselves do that. And ekin-su's a master of the hair flipping and the flirting and the like essentially like man stealing. Like have you noticed? I don't really want to put that on her. What? She
hasn't gone to the gym once since she bagged Davide. Like, well, no, but I'm just saying she knows how to, you know, she was into Davide, let's work out, right? Then over Davide onto this new person. Like, she just plays the part. It's so calculated. Yeah. Sorry, I can't. Goose Fraba.
Never apologize. You're getting a little passionate.
I'm having a little bit. I'm sweating a little bit. That might be the COVID, but you know.
It might be your fever.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so they go into the evening for the recoupling.
It's so bad. It's so bad. But what's interesting here is a lot. So, we know from the get-go that Damica's natural like attraction is towards Luca and Jax, because, and I hate when people say this, but they're just like, because he looks like my ex or like whatever. He looks like guys that I date on the outside. It's like, okay, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't care. It's just, it's not enough for me. I mean, it's not enough for me personally, but it's not enough for me to be like, okay, so you're just going off of attraction, period. Like Luca, we don't see how many connections or like how many chats she has with everyone. She does like talk to Davide a little bit. But like Luca, it makes an effort to like make her feel welcome. That's all he's giving you. And I don't know what she's done with Jax. Anyway, she picks Luca and the world is shooketh. The villa is shooketh.
It is. It is.
What's interesting is the reaction afterwards. Luca.
Which part? Luca goes
picked.
over and kisses Gemma.
He kisses Gemma. He sits down with Damica. There could have been a whole villa between them. He wants to be as far away from her as possible. He's he's like distressed and he's emotional, and I get that. I will say that I think that his reaction was quite reassuring for the relationship that he's in. Like, I think that allowed Gemma to not be so upset about what had just happened, even though there was like a lot unknown on the other side, because that had to have been reassuring, his reaction. It would have been reassuring to me.
Totally. Yeah. You know, I thought that, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. He is an emotional lad. I think I think he's so frustrated because he's like, I just got with Gemma. And like, now you're trying to pull me away. I'm really surprised they can't say no. That I put that in my notes. I was like, can they not say no? Because I mean,
no.
Why?
Because
you're gonna force me now to be in a couple with you?
Yeah, but there are other ways that you can like say no to the experience of getting to know each other. These are the rules of the game. You couple up with the person that chooses you. Like, you really don't have to say. But what you can say no to is where you sleep, and
right,
like,
and that's what he did,
and how you engage. You know, like, it was interesting. I thought that Gemma handled it like a boss bitch. I thought that she handled it really well. But she sort of said, she's like, Luca's like behavior and how he's been dealing with it has helped her feel secure.
Totally.
Like she's saying like, I'm actually feeling okay. And I believe her when she says that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So she ends up, going downstairs because Luca ends up sleeping in like the doghouse bed, and she comes down and like initiates a little cuddle with him in the morning. And so, yeah, I mean, they did the best that they could with the situation that they had.
I think that the situation that they're in, this is why I want to give them a point for working on communicating better, because the situation that they're in is forcing them to have more and more discussions about how they're feeling and where they're at and what's going on. And I do think that the two of them are handling it. And I do think, you know, they're always like, it's either going to make us stronger or it's going to pull us apart. I do think that this experience is actually going to make them stronger as a couple, which if this goes well, they recouple, this is going to be Luca will be well prepared for Casa Amor, you know?
Yeah.
I can't wait. That's always my favorite part of the fucking show. Ooh.
I don't even remember it. I haven't watched a Love Island since 2020, so I don't even remember what that means. So I'm excited for it.
Okay, really quick. It's when the boys leave the house. They like get a text and they have like a secret mission, and they tell all the boys that they need to leave the house immediately, and they're like, lads trip, or like whatever. They leave, they go to another villa, and then they bring in 10 new girls to that villa, and they bring 10 new guys to the original villa where the girls are, and they have an entire week in that villa. Everyone decides where they're going to sleep again. They get to know new people. They do challenges again between the houses. A lot of it includes like kiss the person that you think is most attractive. Like, they put them in catalyst type situations to see how connections form. And then when you come back, the girls are waiting at the original villa, and the host, I can't remember her name, she asks
Laura.
the girl, Laura, she asks the girl, who do you want to couple up with? Do you want to couple up with someone from the house? Do you want to couple up with one of the new people that you've been hanging out with for the last week, or do you want to stay in your couple? And they make that choice, and then they outwalks the guy who you see either walks out alone or with another girl. And if they walk out with another girl, they've decided that they want to couple up with someone from the house.
Wow.
So everyone comes back, and you could be in a strong couple. Like, let's say, for instance, Gemma and Luca. Let's say Gemma and Luca are really, really strong. They do the Casa Amor thing, and let's say Gemma decides, she's like, all of these other boys didn't do it for me. Like, I want to stay in my couple. And then we see Luca come down the stairs with a girl, and then they all have to live in the house together.
Yeah, when I was watching Love Island over quarantine, that was not a part of it.
What's
It was like old seasons.
Gotcha.
Like Hannah and John, like season
I think that they
one.
started. I think that they started introducing. Wow, I wish we could have covered Hannah and John on this show.
I know.
They started introducing Casa Amor in like season 3.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Wild shit.
So, is
That's what we have to look
week?
forward to. Yeah, pretty much. I guess. Oh, I wanted to ask you a question. Just a quick question.
Ask it.
Because what we're sort of left with is the Amber, Dami, India, Ikenna situation.
Yeah.
Dami you look like you're ready. Dami is getting ready to or rather he's just like acknowledging other people's awareness of like, oh, you guys have a good chemistry. I wanted to ask you if Dami and India could explore a connection, what do you think would be the best way to do that in this setting?
I think the same way that, ekin-su should have gone about it with Davide and Jay, just like tell your person, hey, I've noticed that I have good banter with, if Dami was telling this to Amber, I've noticed I've had good banter with India and I'd like to explore that. I don't want to hurt you. And at the same time, like, I need to use this experience for what's best for me. And so I'm going to go about doing that. Wish you all the best. Please feel free to take your time and explore other connections with other guys that come in. Done.
And then you gotta tell your girlfriend, your friend, that's dating the guy, like.
COVID brain. So like, I feel last week.
I'm gonna run it back. So okay. So yeah, Dami may tell Amber this. Like, I want to explore things with India. Is Amber gonna tell India?
I don't think that's not her responsibility. Dami should. I don't think that's Amber's responsibility.
The reason why this is a different situation than someone new coming in and wanting to explore that is because there's these like webs of friendships that are established as well with everyone.
I feel like Amber especially is so emotionally mature to not be like, India, you stole my man. Like, I don't think it would screw them up in that way.
Okay, Dami's
if it was ekin-su, that would be different.
Totally different. I agree. But now Dami's got to tell Ikenna that he wants to talk to India.
I feel like Ikenna is like so chilled he wouldn't care. I really don't think like he would care. I don't.
It's going to be interesting. I hope something happens. I want something to happen.
Yeah. I think they deserve to explore it. I also don't know if India's into Dami like that, because she even mentioned, like, I can talk with Dami, like, obviously it's friends. Like, she said that in the episode. So I don't know if she said obviously it's friends because Amber's there and she, like, wants to respect the relationship, or obviously it's friends because she doesn't feel anything for Dami in that way. We don't know how India feels about Dami yet. So we're going to have to find out.
True that. Okay, well, that's week 2 on the fucking Love Island villa.
Yeah.
That was a whirlwind.
Yeah, for real. If you like us, because obviously you do if you made it this far into the episode, make sure you leave a rating and review on wherever you listen to us, Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Snap a screenshot, share it to the gram, let us know you're watching. So tag us at Ditch the Script Pod. Follow us on social.
Give us your
Pod.
Give us your bad date stories on the website, ditchthescriptpod.com, ditchthescriptpod.com, and you can ask us questions. You can sign up for a mini session. We're still doing that, and we will see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.